Important public service announcement before this video starts. Do not craft any gears until after this update lands. Now, if you do or recently crafted a bunch of gears for some reason, it won't matter after the October update because that's when everyone's gears gets refunded. But until October, you'll potentially miss out on some free gear progression. I'll explain more later, but for now, let's start the video. Brawl Talk just dropped, and what we learned could have the biggest impact on the game's history out of all of the Brawl Talks in the past, except for when Brawl Stars went global, probably. Gear costs are getting cut in half on top of getting completely reworked. Existing gears are getting reimbursed, PvE modes are getting revamped, and from the sounds of it, they're completely reworking the progression system and adding some sort of version of Masteries into the game. And honestly, it looks like Brawl Stars is going to be changing a lot in the next several updates. Not only are we getting high quality content for long-term players, but new players as well, and I have a lot of thoughts and speculations on how it will all play out. I hope you're excited because this could be the most hopeful I've been about the Brawl Stars' future in a long time. I'm way excited, and I've got lots of thoughts, so stick around to the end of the video. Because before we can talk about the future of Brawl Stars, we need to talk about what's happening to the game now. And before we talk about that, this video is sponsored by one of my partners, Free Fire, which is awesome because I have a whole second channel dedicated to Free Fire content. So click the first link below to download the game and click the second link to follow my Free Fire channel. Free Fire is one of the biggest shooters on mobile, and there's always something happening in the game. They recently released their newest Battle Royale map called Next Terra. And this map has some really cool areas to it that are actually like a lot of fun. Deca Square has a bunch of teleports that you can use to sneak up on your enemies, and you can literally fight in the air in the Grav Labs area. There are other really awesome parts of the map as well, so you guys have got to check it out. Potentially bigger than that is that Free Fire recently reached their 5-year anniversary, and they've got a bunch of stuff happening to celebrate. Not only a bunch of free rewards, but the evolution guns are returning, which are arguably the strongest in the game, plus some favorite cosmetics are returning as well, including the top criminal skins. They're also releasing their newest character into the game, J Biebs, and Justin Bieber is doing a live concert in-game as part of the event. Like I said, something is always happening in Free Fire, so click the link in the description below to download now. And a big thank you to Free Fire for sponsoring this video and for making my Free Fire channel possible. We got 2 new brawlers coming to the game, and I don't know which one I'm more excited to play. Sam is the newest chromatic brawler coming to the game, and he is the second member of the Gold Arm gang along with Belle. Danny also mentioned that he has some sort of a personal beef with robots of Star Park. I don't know if we'll find out what that is, but hopefully we do sometime in the future. He also seems to play very similar to El Primo and Rosa since he has a ton of health. He has really strong attacks with a short range. To be clear though, he has 7,800 health at max level, which is the same amount as Bonnie's cannon form. So he's actually pretty tanky, although not the tankiest. He's not as tanky as Rosa, he's not as tanky as El Primo, but he's very tanky. His attacks can deal 2,400 damage, which is as much damage as Ash's attacks deal when he has full rage. So that's actually a lot of damage, but his super is what makes him so unique though. He is the only brawler in the game that starts a match with his super already charged. And he kind of essentially has 2 forms, kind of like Bonnie does. He starts the match with his super charged and his knuckle busters equipped. With them on, his attacks are strong, but they reload really slowly. And when he uses his super though, he punches the knuckle busters forward, kind of like a long range attack, and that deals 2,100 damage to anything that touches it. That's a little bit less damage than Grom's super, which, I mean, that's a lot of damage, especially if it hits multiple people. We can see that his super doesn't destroy bushes, so I think it's safe to assume that it doesn't destroy walls either. Probably doesn't on the way back as well. Probably like Carl's attack, if he brings it back to him, it'll just go through the wall. The Sam's knuckle busters will actually stay on the ground wherever they landed until either Sam charges his super and uses it to pull them back to him, or until he actually just picks them up by like going really close to them. While he doesn't have his knuckle busters equipped, his attacks have a much faster reload speed, but they actually deal half the damage than when he does have them on. It also looks like the projectiles do not go through targets when the knuckle busters are on, which is kind of interesting. And another interesting thing about his super is that after he launches his knuckle busters, he gets a short speed boost, which I measured to be about 3 seconds long. And I'm not exactly sure how many he needs to recharge his super, but from this clip, we can see that he hits 2 enemies with his super, and then his super recharges after landing only 3 more punches from his main attack. Now, I didn't see anything that looked like his star power or his gadget in this gameplay, but I'll be covering all of his abilities in depth in a future Sam Olympics sneak peek video. Gus is the newest super rare brawler coming to the game, so he's going to be very easy to unlock, but he won't be available for the first few weeks of the season start. Now, Gus appears to be the first brawler of a new trio. We already have the undead trio, but maybe this is like the spooky trio or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if the chromatic brawler from the October update is going to be in this trio as well. He is a very unique brawler with a support ability, but it's very different than like any other playstyle that we currently have in the game. It's kind of like Byron mixed with B in a weird way. He has 4,800 health, which makes him somewhat squishy, and for reference, that's the same amount of HP as Amber's, Max's, Lou's, Tara's, and Leon's health. And his main attack deals 1,380 damage, which is the same amount of damage that Sandy's main attack does, and it's not very much, but he has a fairly long range, so I think it kind of makes up for it. Aside from dealing damage, each time Gus hits an enemy with his attack, it charges a bar below his ammo bar. Here we can see the bar being charged from hitting one of Mr. P's porters as well, so it looks like it will charge by hitting any enemy target, not just brawlers. Now the bar is charged after 3 hits, and once that bar is full, his next attack will spawn a ghost wherever his attack lands, and Paula only mentioned that his teammates will be able to collect the ghosts, so maybe Gus will be able to pick them up himself, maybe he won't be able to. Either way, I'll be confirming that in the Gus Olympics. Now it's unclear how much HP these ghosts will heal, but we can see Bonnie pick up one here, and she instantly receives 1,200 health, but it also helps her reach max HP, so the ghost actually might heal even more than that. It also looks like you can't pick up the ghosts if you're already at full health, but you can have several of them on the battlefield at a time, which is honestly really cool because you can kind of give your teammates a choice of when they actually get healed by like they can store them up in specific locations and stuff. It's really cool. Now Gus is the first brawler that is able to give teammates a shield. It works kind of like Edgar's hardcore gadget, but it's much stronger. For comparison, each shield decays by 5%, but Edgar's shield appears to decay about twice as quickly and only has 2,000 health, while Gus's shield starts with 3,600 HP, so that's actually really cool. I'm actually wondering right now if they could actually stack. That would be very interesting. Now, if you want Gus to actually use the shield himself, all you have to do is auto-aim the super, and if you want to cast it onto a teammate, you have to manually aim it at a teammate and then hit them with that shield. We don't know what happens if you miss. I'm guessing that he would just take the shield, or maybe it drops a ghost on there and then they can pick it up or something like that. We don't know. We won't know until a future sneak peek, which is also when I will reveal his gadgets and his star powers. So you should subscribe for that. Believe it or not, I lost subscribers since last month, so I'll take every shameless plug I can get. Now that we've covered the new brawlers, I really want to talk about the future of Brawl Stars, but let's quickly cover the rest of the stuff coming in this update first. Buzz and Griff are finally getting their second gadgets. And as long as Sam and Gus come with second gadgets, that means that every brawler in the game will have 2 gadgets and 2 star powers to choose from. We didn't see much of either of these 2 gadgets, but there are a few things to notice about Buzz's. First of all, we can see a little gadget like icon glow above his head, and then there's also a decreasing bar below his ammo bar at the same time. This is very similar to one of Shelly's gadgets, Surge's gadgets, and also Colette's gadgets, which makes me think that it's going to affect his main attack in some way for a short period of time. This might be a damage boost, or maybe even double recharge rate for a super, maybe a different attack altogether. We'll find out in the future. As for Griff's gadget, it looks like it makes his next attack throw out an extra row of coins. That's an extra 1,170 damage if all of the coins hit, which that's a really high damaging attack. Could be pretty useful in a place like Heist or something like that. This update is bringing some of the coolest skins into the game. Caesar Sam is going to be tier 70 of the Brawl Pass. Desperado Poco, yes please. He's gonna be at tier 1, and then there's Lawless Lola, who is the Power League skin. Stonks Pam, oh my gosh, this is so hilarious. Even if it's just for the memes, she's firing out up arrows. It's hilarious, okay? Then we have Crowbone Crow. This skin is so cool. Trick or Treat Leon is also spooky and fun too. And we also have Moon Bunny Squeak, who I'll be doing a giveaway for on my Discord server, my Twitter, and my Instagram. So click the links in the description below to follow me there. But the skin I am most excited for, and probably everybody is, Mecha Mortis. Are you kidding me? This skin is so cool looking. I really wish it didn't cost 300 gems, but I've got to be honest, it's probably the most worth it of all of the skins at that price point, because honestly, it could be the coolest skin in the game, and that's saying a lot coming from me, right? Even more exciting though, oh my goodness, Supercell, why you gotta do this to me? The color variations, oh, you gotta buy the 300 gem skin, then the color variations. I mean, the color variations are worth the 50 gems. I mean, it's definitely worth it. But, oh, the dark one. Oh, it looks so cool. This is your friendly reminder to please use any creator code before buying any gems in the Brawl Stars shop to support your favorite creator. And I'd especially appreciate you guys using code Kairos. We're getting a new PvE mode, which honestly, I'm actually really excited for this one. It looks like 8-Bit is being bullied by the rest of the bots in Brawl Stars. You know, that's kind of typical 8-Bit. And our goal goal is to protect him. You win by keeping 8-Bit alive until the end of the time limit, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. It looks like 8-Bit will actually completely stop working at some point. You see those little Z's kind of popping up, and you have to collect coins from around the map to keep him running. We don't know all the details, but this, honestly, it looks like a lot of fun to play. I'm really excited to try it out. Do you love pushing brawlers to new ranks? Because this is the time to do it. They are increasing the trophy reset to 8 weeks to match the Brawl Pass season. We don't know if they're reworking how many star points you'll be getting each season. I imagine that they will be doing something, but this small change could have a big impact on ladder gameplay. Power matches are also getting a couple of changes that should have a big impact on them. They're adding a way to report players for griefing in power matches. Thank you, Supercell. Oh my gosh, I feel like I was hoping for this since day one of Power League. From the sounds of it, they'll probably just be gathering data at first, but I mean, then maybe also banning some of those people that are like the most toxic, and I am really looking forward to seeing those posts because sweet justice, that's gonna be nice. We're also going to be able to swap brawlers with teammates during the draft process in power matches. This is a feature that I did not know that I wanted. This is really cool, and I'm especially excited for this when playing with friends because whoever creates the room always gets the last pick. So now you can pick a strong brawler and swap with them later on, because there are brawlers that are going to be a very first pick and brawlers that are less likely to get picked. So it's a really cool feature. The price to upgrade gears is getting cut in half in this update. Thank you. Or half-ish. We don't know the exact numbers, but we know that it will include both scrap and gear tokens. Now that is the only change to gears in this update, but it is a very important step in the right direction. And it's the first step in a big plan to make gears something so much better than they are right now. My biggest issue with gears straight from the beginning when they were first released is that they are too expensive to upgrade. So Supercell is addressing this issue right now in this upcoming update. But they're not stopping there, thank goodness, okay? In the October update, they're going to simplify how we get gears. What does this mean exactly? Well, we kind of know based off of what they said, but based off of the fact that our gear, our scrap, and our gear tokens will be reimbursed in coins, it sounds to me like gears will just be bought with coins, which is exactly what you do with star powers and gadgets right now. This is pretty much confirmed by the fact that Frank said that coins will play a much bigger role in how we unlock gears in the future. Is it the only role in how we'll unlock them in the future? We don't know. There might be something else in there, but this is kind of making sense, right? If I'm right about this, this addresses two big issues that I've had with gears. The first was how gear tokens, they pretty much limited which gears we could craft on each of our different brawlers. And if gears are now going to be purchased with coins and we don't have gear tokens or something, I don't know how it will work out, but we will likely have the freedom to craft our gears however we want on our brawlers in the future. And that's so awesome, okay? Now, another issue that I had with gears was that scrap couldn't be purchased with coins, which resulted in, this wasn't a big issue for a lot of people, but eventually it would have been an issue where you have hundreds and thousands of coins and not enough scrap to max out your brawlers after you get all your brawlers to power 11. So simplifying things by switching all of it to coins fixes both of these issues, or even if just coins are the major part of it, then it's going to be a lot better. Another big issue I've had with gears in the past is that the system didn't allow for additional gears to be added into the game. Frank specifically said that they will be adding additional gears that are more specific and they won't be able to be used on all of the brawlers. So to me, it sounds like this new system will allow for more expansion, which I think is just so much more interesting. What would you guys rather have? Really expensive gears that are the same forever, or less expensive gears, but more gears in future updates that we get more, like the progression cap still increases, however, we get more content for it, which is so awesome, okay? And there are so many different cool things they could do. They could add gears that are specific for all of the poison brawlers, or gears for the healing brawlers, or gears that specifically work for tanks or assassins. They might even add gears that are unique to each individual brawler. So like you have a gear that's specific for Crow, or a gear that's specific for Squeak, right? This gear with a healing icon on it almost makes it look like Squeak will have a gear that will allow him to heal whenever he deals damage. So kind of like a life leech or something like that. This is just speculation, but there's so much better that they could do than the current 5 gears in the game, because the fact that they have to work on all of the brawlers, it makes the 5 in the game right now, they're kind of boring, if I'm being honest. And that's not saying that the Supercell didn't do a good job. It's just like, this new version I think is gonna be much better. So let's talk about how this refund is going to work. This respec because I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be some misconceptions going on around. Once the October update arrives, all of our gears, all of our gear tokens, and all of our scrap will be completely refunded as coins, which is interesting. We'll then be able to use these coins however we want. You can use them to buy gadgets or star powers. You could even use them to upgrade your brawlers, maybe even buy true gold skins if you really want to, which is probably not what you should do. But more importantly, you will be able to use it to buy gears for your brawlers again. We'll have more gear options to choose from coming in this October update that we're talking about, and the cost for gears will be reduced so that you'll have a lot more options than you currently have right now. We don't know if the price of this is going to be further reduced from the 50% cut in this update. Frank did mention the 50% reduced, and then he also mentioned they'd be reduced. Is that 2 reductions? I'm assuming no, but either way, they will be cheaper, which is awesome. And honestly, every time I've talked about reworking gears, the number that I've always thrown around is cutting their cost in half, actually. So I think I've done so many gear rework videos that it's hard to remember, but half was definitely something I said at one point. Now, at the start of this video, I told you not to craft gears until after the upcoming update. This is because the refund isn't happening until the October update. So any gears crafted before this update won't be refunded for another couple of months. But if you craft them after the update, this current update, they will cost half as much, meaning that you could craft twice as many as you could right now. It doesn't matter in the long run when you craft your gears, it really doesn't matter. This is because the gear refund will be based off the amount of scrap and gear tokens you have ever acquired. Not the ones you've crafted, but you've gotten scrap at any certain point in time. That means that you will get refunded that. So it doesn't matter what you do in the long run. In fact, it kind of makes sense for you to just go crazy right now and craft all of your gears after the 50% reduction, because they're all going to be respect anyway. So you might as well use it, because scrap just sitting there now isn't actually going to do anything for you. We've got a lot more to talk about when it comes to the future of Brawl Stars, specifically mentioned in this Brawl Talk, but I just wanted to say that from what I've heard this Brawl Talk, this rework to gears, it gets a massive stamp of approval for me. Such a big stamp of approval that they literally put a thumbs up Kairos pin in Brawl Talk. That's funny. I love that. And you seriously got to give props to Supercell for making these changes so soon, especially after they initially intended to wait until next year or longer to work on gear. So seriously, awesome. Thank you so much, Supercell. But it sounds like gear reworks aren't the only thing coming in this October update. Brawl Stars is reworking the weekend PvE events to make them a lot more exciting. We don't know too many details, but Frank did told us that they would have multiple stages, power-ups that would persist throughout the stages, and on top of getting new environments to play through, we'd also get new enemies and bosses to face. But there is one tiny detail that Frank just nearly glossed over.
Almost like a place where we'll be able to tell a story in the future.
Hold on here. A PvE mode with multiple stages, new enemies, and it's a place where they'll be able to tell a story? Frank, is this what I think it is? Brawl Stars lore built right into the game? Hot dog! Yeah, that's right, I'm wearing pajamas. This is exciting. We really don't know very much about this, but when I heard about this, I immediately thought of when Brawl Stars added a series of arcade mini games into Brawl Stars. You'd tap on 8-bit, it would pop up there, starting off with Project Laser, where we got to learn more about 8-bit's past. The minigames also revealed a lot about Brawl Stars that at the time we didn't know very much about, and it was oh my goodness, it was one of the most exciting ways that I've seen a PvP game add lore into the game, like lore, like not just like, oh hey, we got a new character and they have this personality, like actual lore that was deep and had story behind it. If these new weekend events truly are a way for Brawl Stars to start telling more about Brawl Stars lore, I'm about to flip a lid, okay? Brawl Theory just might be making a comeback. That's all we know, that it's coming in October, but Frank gave us even more info on what could be coming in the future. We don't know exactly when, but sometime in the future. From the sounds of it, they're going to be completely reworking the progression system so that it no longer is reliant on luck. No longer reliant on luck. What does that mean to you guys? Please tell me, what do you think that means, okay? They said that we are going to have more say in which brawlers will unlock and when we'll unlock them. Give me my legendaries now, please. On top of that, we'll have more say in which brawlers will upgrade, and Frank also said that this would give players a clear goal in the game, right? This is a big change. Like, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. Brawl Stars has reworked their progression system many times in the past, and every single time there has been some sort of element of luck involved with it. So this is a lot to wrap my mind around. They're also planning on adding some sort of a mastery concept into the game, which would give you more of a reason to push specific brawlers higher and get better with them. They even told us this wasn't even a complete list of everything that they're working on. Honestly, my mind is, it's blown, okay? Because it sounds like Brawl Stars is going to change in a very big way in these next few updates. And I'm gonna have to take some time to really think about everything before I'm really willing to speculate on anything concrete here. But let me know if you guys would like me to do a video where I speculate on what I think all of this means and what this could possibly mean in the future. Honestly, it just sounds like the developers have been soaking up all of this feedback that we've been getting over the past year. And even though they haven't really said very much up until this point, like they're listening, they're applying it, they just haven't been able to tell us yet. I've got a lot more thoughts to share and a lot to think about, but before I can do that, I've really got to focus on these next update sneak peeks, okay? So make sure you guys subscribe for that and hang tight for my 100% honest update review where I will talk about everything else on my mind once I've had some time to let it soak in. You can also check out my other channels right here, including my Free Fire channel, and watch this video right here where I ranked every game mode in Brawl Stars history from worst to best, including the first version of Heist, which was downright awful, just bad. For now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.